Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is set to introduce many different revelations as well as saga-wide implications within the Skywalker saga by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film, at the end of the day, is going to answer many burning questions to The Force Awakens that will be answered in Episode 9 by J.J. That's really going to change how we view not just The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, but of course all 8 Star Wars movies that come before this one. And by far, I think it's pretty safe to say that a big part of the excitement about this movie has all to do with Luke Skywalker and his actual portrayal by Mark Hamill in Episode 9, and of course exactly how Palpatine will be utilized. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very intense between both Luke, Rey, and Kylo Ren. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that a description of both Rey and Luke Skywalker sitting in front of each other inside of the Prime Jedi Temple, where it's described that Luke is teaching Rey a lesson about the dangers of the dark side and to not underestimate its power. It said that Luke is hiding something from Kylo Ren that he eventually reveals to Rey for the first time, where it's explained that Luke's best student and who he considered his apprentice before Ben Solo was trapped inside of the burning temple from Kylo Ren, where he was weak and defenseless, where Ben Solo killed him inside of the temple while it was burning down, and that Kylo Ren took Luke's strongest Jedi students away from him for an unknown reason and killed his apprentice as a message to his uncle. It's described that one of the scenes that were filmed in the form of a flashback involved a continuation of the burning temple scene, where Mark Hamill filmed the moment in which he force pushes down a wooden door and begins to hold his dead apprentice in his arms, crying, where dangerous flames are seen around Luke as R2 waits in the background. This is all said to be seen by Rey as Luke gently rests his hand on Rey's head, where she is able to see a piece of Luke's past. So let's go a couple of parts about this. Now, what's really interesting about this is that this is giving us a better idea of what happened to Luke's life before the events of The Force Awakens, as well as after the events of Return of the Jedi. Somewhere in between is, of course, when this major tragedy happened to both, of course, Luke and his own apprentice. Now, this is said to be the very first time that Luke is revealing this to anybody, and this is, of course, to the character of Rey, while they are both inside of the Prime Jedi Temple. In case you guys have no idea who the Prime Jedi really is, if you guys read The Last Jedi Visual Dictionary, he is actually said to be the first of the Order, or is at least believed to be the first of the Order, as it says in the Visual Dictionary of The Last Jedi. And you do see the mosaic of him in the First Jedi Temple. So with that being said, the fact that Luke Skywalker is able to show Rey a part of his past, showing, Rey a different side of Kylo Ren, how ruthless he really can be, and what he really did to Luke and his Jedi Academy, and not just his students, but also his best apprentice, who he actually called basically his best student of all of them, before Ben Solo ever even joined. Now, what I like about this is that this is, of course, a moment in which we get to see a different side of Skywalker. We can see that J.J. Abrams obviously wants to show his take on the burning Jedi Temple. In The Force Awakens, yes, J.J. Abrams set it up, where we only got that brief angle of Luke resting his hand on R2, and that was it. That's all we saw. Now, JJ never really got to experiment with that scene, and that was all picked up by Rian Johnson, that is now going to have a major conclusion in The Rise of Skywalker, showing us a different side of it all. Now, we do know that some of the scenes that were filmed involved Luke Skywalker's students as well fighting Kylo Ren, where we're going to see that battle between Kylo and the students. That's going to be a parallel to when Anakin Skywalker killed the Separatists on Mustafar from Episode 3. So you can really see all the parallels that are making their way into Episode 9 that are going to mirror that of the prequel trilogy era by JJ. So the other piece that I do want to go over is that it's actually described that his own apprentice was trapped inside of the burning temple. Now, this could very well change how we view Luke's reaction when he falls down to his knees in The Last Jedi and looks at the burning temple and all the dead bodies on the ground. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but if you guys go ahead and watch The Last Jedi, if you notice, if you look very carefully on the ground, you will see around a dozen dead bodies just scattered throughout the entire field. And somewhere in that actual building, inside of that temple, lies Luke Skywalker's apprentice before Ben Solo. So what I find so fascinating about this is that I'm sure that we're going to learn more about this in 2020, where a lot of books and novels are actually set to expand the Skywalker saga when it comes to specifically the sequel trilogy surrounding Kylo Ren's life and Luke's life, etc. In fact, this year we're going to be learning about the rise of Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren and exactly where they really came from and their origins in the form of a comic series, I believe. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.